In this week's video, we have a Miley Cyrus impression in Race A. Race B gets very tight at Monza. And Race C, well, we see some revenge punting. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2022. It's Race A. We're at Fuji, and you can see I'm in a wide-bodied Ferrari. Yes, indeed, I am. Now, big shout out to Inferno Fox for both the livery and the setup, and I'll show you that a little bit later on. Let's have a look at the race details, exactly what we're doing here at Fuji. We're racing 5 laps. It's a good start with the false start check, sports hard tyres, and critically down at the bottom, 295 horsepower, 1250 kilograms, and MR only. Now, this actually isn't the fastest car. The Porsche Cayman GT4 appears to be faster. However, Inferno Fox made this incredible setup. I thought I'd try it out, and we will see how it gets on in the race in a second. There are some timestamps there for you as well, so please do check them out. And in this video, we're going to do the lap guide slightly differently, so do keep an eye out for how we do that. Without further ado then, let's jump to the race. Let's have a look at Race A, because Turn 1, usually carnage at Fuji. Here we are then at the start. As you see, a lot of Caymans in there. It is quicker on the straights. I'll show you that in the race. But as we get ready for the start, hold that handbrake. I've put traction control on one as well. And this is the best way to start in Gran Turismo. And then you release that handbrake and off you go. And don't do what P6 did there, which is jump the start. We did that a few times in the past. Now we're going to head past the Honda NSX. Now Turn 1 Race A at Fuji. This was always going to be carnage, so I was always going to try and set myself up, slow down, make sure I avoid any carnage. And the carnage happens there. Somebody comes in like an absolute wrecking ball. I assume they didn't even hit the brakes, to be honest with you. I mean, we'll check out the bloopers for that one, but they helped us out massively. We've gone from wherever we started, P9, I think it was, to P2 in the space of a corner. But if you're that driver who just came in there without braking, then you are a moron, just to let you know. Right, we continue on then. We advance further on as we extend our gap to the Alpine. And now you can see up ahead how fast that Cayman is on the straight. It's accelerating away from me, even though I got a run off the previous corner. That gap ever increasing. However, in the corners, the Ferrari is pretty good. Although I can imagine you can get the Cayman good as well. As we come through here, I'm getting closer and closer to Couch Racer then in that Cayman GT4. As we go through this right-hander, they're just going to go a bit too deep here. I'm going to try and get on the inside of that Cayman. Are we going to do it? As we head towards this left-hander, we do indeed. We outbrake them into this left-hander. Job done. P1. Happy days. Now, with this race, nothing really happened after that. I'm 5 seconds in the lead. The gaps on the maps on the right-hand side are massive. Yeah, it wasn't really the greatest of races. It wasn't that fun. And you can see that with the gaps, and the NSX is retired, etc. So this one, I think, could have a few big gaps in there, to be honest with you, with the tuning. But, you know, if you like tuning, you like setup work, this is the race for you. It's just not the race for me. Right, let's jump to the race guide then, because we're actually going to do lap guides separately from now on, as we're going to go into Turn 1. So Turn 1, on the left-hand side, use the start of the stadium there. You can see the step-in work of the bricks or the concrete there on the left-hand side. It's just after the 150-meter board. That is what I use as a brake marker here as we come into this right-hander. I just got a little bit deep there. Nothing too major, but that is my brake marker here at Fuji. We're going to leave that corner then. We're going to head down towards the left-hander here. And what I normally use is, you see on the left-hand side, you've got all the different coloured greys on the barriers. So you've got the dark grey here, going to the white or the very, very light grey. I'm going to use that as a brake marker here. I'm going to drop to 4th gear in the Ferrari. Obviously, if you're using the Cayman, it's going to be different gears. However, the brake markers are still going to be the same. This is why I still continue to do this kind of thing. It's general brake markers that you can use to really set up your lap and get you going in terms of the racing. Go through here then, it's just a let off the throttle really, let the car roll through the corner and then head over towards the right hand side. And on the left hand side there, you've got the curb that ends. I use the end of that curbing as a bit of a brake mark here, but I'm pointing away from the apex initially. It's straight line braking, and then I'm going to turn myself in as I come off the brakes. Be careful of oversteering the Ferrari. I'm assuming the Cayman has the same issue there as well, and we're going to leave there. Now, obviously, in this practice mode I am using the normal settings, etc. I'm doing this online lobby. However, the cars are on full fuel, not empty, which is a bit frustrating, but even so, the brake markers are still the same. On the right-hand side, then, you've got the orange painted barrier there right at the end, just under the Dunlop sign. You can use that as a brake marker as you come into here. Now, I stay in second gear usually here. Just allows the car to be a bit safe and you can accelerate a bit quicker, whereas first gear, you'll spin the wheels. I normally shift gear there on the left-hand part of that just to get me going. And again, give me a little bit more grip being in the lower RPM range. On the right side, we have that tannoy on, I assume it's a tannoy. It's a tannoy or light. It's the one I always use here. As that leaves the screen, I dab the brakes, turn in, hopefully get my wheels on the inside of the curb like I do there, and I can accelerate out, no problem at all. The end of the curb on the left-hand side then, that is also my brake mark here, and I'm going to edge out towards the right-hand side of the circuit. It's trail braking all the way to the outside. If you slam on, you're just going to understeer off. You trail brake. Don't go over 50% here. Get it turned in. Straight through, a little bit of oversteer there from me. And then you can do two lines here. You can go for the very outside line or the tight line. Both lines use that orange painted barrier on the right hand side. Obviously, if you're going for the wide line, it'll leave your screen that little bit later on. I'm going to go for the middle of the road line here. Try and get it turned as quick as possible. Accelerate out the corner. Be careful of oversteer, which you will suffer in nearly every car doing that corner, just because of the setup of the corner. And then that is going to be the end of that lap. So obviously with full fuel, it's going to be about 52.9 there. And that is that in terms of a lap guide. Now, in terms of setup work, again, a huge shout out to Inferno Fox here. You can see what is installed on the right hand side there. Weight reduction stages 1 and 2 and the body rigidity. Silencer sports. We've got brake system. I use the carbon ones instead of those. And on the left hand side here, the suspension setup there. You might want to pause this video to get all that good stuff. Downforce on max, etc, etc. That's it for race A, though. Let's head to race B. Welcome, then, to the arena of carnage. Yes, it's Monza. So we had Fuji Turn 1 there with carnage. This is Monza. Turn 1 must be carnage, surely. But before we actually get into the race, let's have a look at the race details. And what are we actually doing here at Monza? Well, we're racing 5 laps. It's a rolling start. We're on racing hard tyres only, and we're in Group 3 cars. So, in terms of the best car, the Supra appears to be the best. I did use a different car for the lap guide, but even so, that car is still fairly strong in the grand scheme of it. Remember, the brake markers are always the same. So, are you ready? No, I said, are you ready? Because it is Monza, turn 1. Oh my word, let's go with that chicane. Here we are then at the start. So you can see lots of Supras in there. The Porsche, I did try the Porsche actually before the Nissan GTR, which is what I used in the lap guide. And the Supra obviously being very strong as well. But I didn't really want to use Toyota. And then I saw how strong it was on that leaderboard. So here we go. Monza turn 1. I said, are you ready? Let's go. What's going to happen as we head then for the first time of 5 into Monza turn 1? Rolling start very close, of course. What? Are you seeing this, folks? That's right. We actually have a fairly clean start. 1 car spins there, but that, for Monza Turn 1, is one of the cleanest starts I've ever seen in my life. I could not believe how clean that was. Remember, this is the start of the daily races this week, so there's more carnage than normal anyway, because people don't know what the hell they're doing. And it was clean. It was actually clean. Well, we're going to head towards the second chicane then. So they try and go 3 wide into here. Well, that really doesn't work. So somebody does get pushed off there. Another one get pushed off. And unfortunately, I can't go anywhere there. The French driver just sat in the middle of my screen. So I'm up into P12 and not into P11 as the BMW M6 keeps that position for now. Right, we're going to head towards the second Lesbo then. In towards this braking zone we go. We've got Porsche leading this group. And as we leave that corner... Oh, he holds it! He holds it. That's well played there too. I'm not even going to try and pronounce your name, Loic. And the rest of your name. That's a very good hold. Well played. Well played indeed. Now up ahead, the Ford GT having to go at the Porsche then. Oh, we clip the grass. Do not do that in the braking zone. You will end up meeting barrier. So through the left we go. Oh, the Ford GT loses that rear end. They catch it as well. Everyone is becoming drift masters here. They're catching the cars. Fair play to the Ford GT driver. However, we get P10, so happy days. Oh, we got a yellow flag. Oh, here we go. Monza turn 1 does not disappoint. So we've got, what was 1, 2, 3 positions, I think we got there. We were P10. We were P10 going into that corner. P7 as well, leave it. People getting reset all over the place. And yeah, we just handle the corner nice and easy. Right, heading towards turn 1 once again. In towards the braking zone we go. Oh, Porsche, they're getting a bit of oversteer there. They do handle it very nicely as well. Oh, there's somebody on the left there. We're going to take another position. We're up into that cursed one. That's the P6 position. But we are in the fight for P4 here at the moment. in TCR Fuzzy Bear there in the distance. So a shout out to you, Fuzzy Bear. But we're looking for the run on the Porsche. The Porsche, very good at the infield of Monza, not very good at this moment in time. And this is also where the Nissan GTR falls foul, in that the Supra just keeps going and going and going and going when it's in 6th gear. It's absolutely rapid at this point as we head towards the braking zone then. And we're in P5, so job done. We can see P2 in the distance as well. Fuzzy Bear just ahead of me. Oh, touches the gravel there, but keeps on going. Pleb Hub on the back. Hey, if you want your new material, Pleb Hub is the place to go. Anyway, we're going to go down the inside of Fuzzy Bear then, as we're looking to get that P4 position. We are in P4 now. Is Fuzzy Bear going to send it down the inside then? No, they back out of it as we continue then. So up into P4. Not too bad so far. We've had a win. Currently in P4. What can we do as we go through the chicane? Well, we advance a bit further on then onto the final lap. We've gained a little bit of ground, not too much on White Tiger. White Tiger also part of TCR as well as we go through. Oh, hello. Where's old Banger going? They're meeting somebody in the sand there, and it's not quite barrier, but they are building castles in that sky. Right, okay, so we're going to have a move on White Tiger, heading towards the final corner. Parabolica coming up here. Can we do this side by side? Then in towards the braking zone we go. White Tiger on the inside. I'm on the outside. I'm just giving room here. However, the person on the outside normally has the advantage here just because of the way Parabolica is. And I do get that advantage. We head towards the line. White Tiger gives a friendly flash there. I whack my hazards on. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful racing there with White Tiger, a part of TCR. Hey, put your nickname back on, White Tiger. Obviously, their PSN is TSR White Tiger. But that was beautiful racing. Superb. Shout out to Vampire there for winning. But White Tiger, my driver of the week this week. That was just amazing at the Parabolica. Right, lap guide time then. Heading towards turn 1. The brake marker I always use in every single game. The 150 meter board. Now in the GTR, I can brake a little bit later. Supra, a little bit earlier. It's the same brake marker, however, as we come into that braking zone. Now, you can cut quite a lot of this first turn, and you do want to do that. Short shift to second, or go into second, or stay there if you need to. You can use a little bit of that outside curb there. It's just off the rumble of the curb. There's like a green bit there. It is a bit grippy. You can use that as a part of your exit on turn 1. Now, the second chicane, the orange painted barrier on the right-hand side. It's just after the 150 meter board. Before the 100 meter board, there was also a piece of road there that you can use as well. And what you want to do is cut a lot of the first and cut a lot of the second as well. You are going to have to be careful of penalties. Obviously, if you get too greedy and cut it too much, there is a penalty there. But I found I could cut it quite a lot, to be honest with you. Now, for Lesmo 1, it's the 50 meter board. Nice and easy. It's on the left-hand side. So just use that as your brake marker. And then as you come into here, you're just sort of balancing the car, waiting, and then go. Be careful about running too wide there. I'm not sure what happened to my voice during that. As we head towards the second Lesmo, once again, it is the 50 meter board there on the left-hand side. Again, braking just before this, just to keep the car settled. If you go too aggressive, you're just going to ruin your exit. And remember, there is a bit of a straight there towards Ascari, as you're seeing here. And there is a lot of the exit there you can use as well at Monza. So on the right-hand side then, you've got an orange painted barrier, which is very bright here on the right-hand side. It is orange painted, trust me. But you've also got the tarmac there as well. You can use either of these in this situation and use those as your brake marker. Now, you want to avoid all sausages in Ascari. However, you want to get as close to them as possible. Just don't touch them. And you can abuse the curb on the left-hand side as well, unless you're in an MR car where it might get unsettled just that little bit. Now, Parabolica, the final corner. I'm braking just after the 100 meter board usually, and literally not close to the 50 in the slightest, and I'm using the board there on the left hand side. Now, when I come into here, I'm waiting for that second lamppost on the right hand side. I always wait for it. Again, in every single game, it is a perfect accelerating marker. That lamppost on the right hand side. As that appears on your screen, or hits the edge of your screen, depending on the car, accelerate, and you'll be able to make the corner, as you see here, and then head towards the line. I can't remember what this is lap time wise, but that is the lap guide of race B. Let's jump to race C. Welcome then to Catalunya for race C, and you can see already I'm in a Subaru WRX there in a fantastic livery. Now you can check out all the liveries on the website, of course, that's in the description, and you can join TCR as well. Just use the form below, join Discord. Once you've got the e-roll, your name will turn yellow, and that is that. Job done. You are in TCR. Have fun racing, representing clean racing. That is the goal of this team. Clean racing. Right, let's jump to the race details then. Let's get on with this race. We are racing 10 laps here at Catalunya. It is with the chicane. It's a rolling start, but the rolling start is fine. Racing medium and hard tyres, but only the hard is required, so that is the only one you are using in the race. Times 7 fuel, times 1 tyre wear, so it is a fuel race as well. So you do not pit in this race, you use a hard tyre only, and it's time 7 fuel. I say I'm using the Subaru. Let's jump to the race then. Let's have a look exactly what happens. Here we are then at the start. Lots of Subarus. I think Subaru WRX is going to be the dominant car in the race. Maybe not in time trial. There may be others that can do well in time trial. It's still strong in time trial. But in the race, oh my word, you can fuel save and do whatever. And it is a little bit of a fuel saving race. Not massively amount, but you do need to fuel save a little bit. Now up ahead, we've got Andrea there with the hazards on. I'm not sure why. Maybe saying hello. I don't know. Hello, Andrea. We're going to head towards turn 1, where the Super up ahead brakes really early there, does Mike Mimi. And unfortunately, the Super has to take avoiding action. So fair play for taking that avoiding action. But we gained the position from it. So happy days. 1 position already in this race. And that is not a nice livery, that way. It says kiss my bottom. It says on the rear of that car there. Bottom is what you pronounce. That's just the French word for it that he's got on there. It's bottom. Right, and on the inside there, there was a little tap. HRG definitely didn't like that, so they sent them to the rounds. I mean, yeah, I don't really believe in revenge punting, but as revenge punting goes, that's quite a good one, to be honest with you. So, yeah, anyway, we get the position. We're up into P9. Let's continue on with this race as we head towards this left-hander, as the Russian there just has to brake sharply to avoid 1999. I'm not sure everyone wants to avoid 1999. A few people do want to go back there, if I'm honest with you, Mr. Russian. However, they go a bit deep here. I'm going to get the run on 1999 as we head to the year 2000 then, going down the outside in towards the braking zone. Then here we go. I was expecting to get absolutely lunge and a half, and I didn't. So, hey, P7. We started wherever we started. 13, 14. I have no idea anymore. But we're right behind Marcus in P6 already. And at this point, I was like, what's going on in this race? It's a bit crazy, this race. Now, is it because I've done the lap guide already and I've practiced a little bit or what? I'm not too sure. Anyway, we're right behind Marcus then as we head in towards this left-hander. A little bit, then the right-hander. And yeah, we continue on out of there right behind Marcus. So I am fuel saving a little bit here. I will explain fuel saving a little bit later on. But you can see how I'm shifting just over half. I actually went to a quarter at one point in the race, but I think half is enough. So where that white line is on the bar, change. Exactly as I did right there. Now Marcus still in the slipstream here, just gets a bit better of a run, but as we head towards here, they just dab the brakes a little bit. It scares the living bejeebus out of me. But I sort of shoot to the right here and get the position. I'm not sure whether they wanted to let me go there or not, but oh my word, it scared me. It did scare me. Right, we've got Captain Stupendous. Nice to see you again, Captain Stupendous, with the L plates on the back here as well. Who fancies a race with Captain Stupendous? Well, I do. So they go defensive down the inside. I'm going down the outside here. Now, you can't overtake around the outside. As I always say here at Catalunya, I overtook Lightning here around the outside twice in the same race. Well, actually, it was the same race, but 2 different splits. But even so, I'll take it. It's around the outside with Lightning. Now, we're on the inside of Captain Stupendous here as we head towards this left-hander. Now, I was happy. Once I was on the inside here, I knew I had this corner. I think Captain Stupendous knew that as well, so sort of broke a little bit early here. I got the position. Happy days. P5 it is for me with Tomacek up next and Lude in front of them. In fact, we've got TCR in the lead at the moment with White Tiger there in the distance. Right, we catch up to Tomacek then towards the end of lap number 2 as we head into this braking zone. Now, with this chicane, be careful about cutting it too much, but you can cut it quite a lot, if I'm honest with you. Tomacek gets it slightly wrong, went a bit too aggressive on the exit, so we get down the inside then as we get that position up into P4 at the end of lap 2 and only 5.7 seconds off the lead. Now, I did say only use the hard tyre. I know a couple of people are on mediums in this race. I was pretty happy at this point. I was like, okay, this is going very, very well. I couldn't remember who was on mediums. But Tomacek, looking down the inside then, looking for a good move here. I give room on that inside. We go a little bit deep here, trying to keep that position. Tomacek round the outside then of that second turn. On the inside for turn 3. This is looking like a beautiful little move from Tomacek. It is indeed. Look at that. Well played. Well played, Tomacek. That is beautiful stuff there. Shout out to you as we head in towards the braking zone. Then Tomacek gets it done. Ooh, a little bit of a mistake there. Looking down the inside then on this corner. As you see, the WRX 4-wheel drive just grips for days. Plant your foot, off it goes. It's really nice. And we try and outbrake Tomacek then in towards his left-hander. Tomacek still on that inside. We've got the outside here. We get the run. We're up into P4. But again, a shout out for that move, Tomacek. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful on turn 3. And the whole setup into turn 1, to be honest with you. Now, the TCR White Tiger, off to the realms there. Not sure where you were going there, but we're going to continue on all the same. And we're now in the fight for P2 at this point. Now, White Tiger will have dirt on their tyres. I knew that immediately because they'd been off. So we get down the inside of White Tiger, then up onto a podium spot as we go through the right-hander. And yeah, we're going to advance a bit further on in the race because Lude just stayed ahead of me. Very good pace by Lude in this race, if I'm honest with you. Very, very good pace. I actually thought they were on the medium tyre until I went in the pits here. And then I saw what tyre they're on. And I'm like, why did you pit on lap 5? If you're going to go in the mediums, go on lap 1. I mean, fair play, Lude. You've got some brilliant speed there. So expect some good results this week, if I do say so myself. Now, the leader was on the medium tyres. They come in towards the end of lap 8. And you can see they don't have enough fuel there. So that's why you do have to fuel save. They weren't. I was. And you can see how much fuel I've actually saved. So I start revving the nuts out of this car. Now, I start going for faster laps here, because why not? But this time, I cut the chicane that little bit too much. So I thought I'd show you a cut that you can't do. And we get a 1-second penalty. But let's advance towards the end then, because you know what a penalty looks like. We are 11 seconds in the lead. That's how dominant we were. So, you know, we do 10 laps practice beforehand, actually the day before, and we absolutely annihilate the race. Yeah, it's quite incredible, really. But yeah, a shout out there to Tomacek for that move. And obviously White Tiger from the previous race at the Parabolica. However, you want a lap guide. Some of you are only here for that lap guide. Let's jump to that now then. So this is on the medium tyre, so obviously this would be time trial effectively. We're going to head down towards turn 1, and you have a building on the right-hand side. Now, I use the end, the pointy bit of that building. Again, I use this in every single game that I use because it is there, that building. And as that leaves the screen, I then go on the brakes. Now, you want to sort of get in a little bit more, get over the sausage, and especially on this left-hander, you want to get over the sausage, accelerate through the corner. As you come into here, this is where you back off the throttle a little bit. You may want to stay on the throttle. I'm looking for specifically that right there, the orange barrier in the distance. When that hits the center of your screen and you're turning and you're on the inside on the curb, you will make the corner. It is guaranteed. It is guaranteed, I tell you. So do use that as your accelerating marker. Right, heading down towards this right-hander then. I'm using the gantry here in Group 4. I can break that a little bit later. The Subaru does get a bit sketchy on the rear end, mind you. So just be careful of that. But yes, I'm using the gantry there. So coming into here, third gear. Again, there's so much grunt low down in this Subaru with the turbo, etc. You can be in a higher gear and it just grips for days, as I've already said. Now, we're using that same building that we used earlier on for the left-hander here. So pick a point on that building. I'm normally, again, using the pointy bit there right at the top as my brake marker. And I'm in second gear, but you can do third gear here. Absolutely no problem. You saw that in the race, especially if you're fuel saving. It's perfect third gear for that corner. Head over towards the right-hand side. Now, this corner here, right, you've got the start of the curb there. That's your normal brake marker. Don't go too far to the right-hand side because you will spin. I'm sorry, Jomas. I mention it quite a lot of the time. Last time you saw somebody spin there, it was Jomas doing that exact mistake. Come through here. Be careful about cussing that too much. As we head up towards this right-hander, normally I just lift. But because downforce plays a significant factor in Group 3 and not so much in Group 4, I actually have to dab the brake a little bit here for this corner, just to slow it down a teeny tiny bit. You see that dab of the brake, slowing the car down, clip the curb. Once I've clipped the curb, I accelerate through the corner, and look at that, nice and easy. Head over towards the right-hand side then, and I know this isn't technically there in practice mode, but the pole is. The flag marker on the right-hand side, the pole is still there. The flag marker isn't, for reasons unknown to science, but use that as your brake marker here. As that leaves your screen, you're going to drop down second gear in the Subaru and accelerate out really early in this car. It may get a little bit squirrely as you saw there, but it can handle it, okay? It can handle it. Now, dab the brake in a straight line. You're just balancing the car through here. And as that sausage is about to leave your screen, that is when you accelerate. Because this corner, very hard to judge if you have no marker when to accelerate. I used to use the painted orange barrier. I use the sausage more than anything now because it's in the perfect place. And as you see, we make it nice and easy. As the tyre marks intersect the red and white curb in there on that left-hand side, that is my marker for this corner. You just normally dab the brakes, third gear, and chuck it in usually, as you see there. You can ride that curb a little bit as well. Get over towards the right-hand side. Again, the Gran Turismo 7 gantry isn't there, but the gantry mesh is there. The structure of it is still there. Use that as your brake marker as you come into towards the chicane. Now, you're going to want to drop to second gear. Don't cut the first part too much. Third gear for the second part, and beautiful. Straight out there, nice and easy. And that is a lap of Catalunya. However, we need to go and have a look at some bloopers now because there is some right blooper action in this week's video. Right, first up, who was Miley Cyrus then in this race? Well, we're on the Spaniard, so it is the Spaniard. But as we're coming to here, the NSX brakes, they brake so late and Maxi Cyrus with this one with the Spaniard. That was just a bit stupid, to be honest. We've no idea whether that was dirty or a mistake. I mean, they didn't benefit from it, did they? So it could easily have been a mistake there, but just caused absolute carnage in race A. Right, race B. Now, we did see Leone. Turn 1 here was... I was amazed how clean this was, and I think it only just was clean in the grand scheme of it. It was just this incident here where the Spaniard understeered into the Beetle there, and unfortunately they're going to get a horrible reset and go right before the chicane, so they have to do it again. They're the only one doing it 6 times this race. Right, we also saw this incident up ahead where 3 wide was attempted, although it wasn't quite what I thought it was. As we head then in towards the chicane, Fuji just brakes slightly bit later, and then the BMW tries to benefit there, but really that wasn't a move that was ever going to happen, and they actually pushed the Danish driver off. So yeah, it wasn't really the greatest move. Now we have this one, which is an interesting one, because the Supra basically goes for avoiding action on Old Banger. Unfortunately, it causes absolute chaos then into turn 1. I think that was the case of the second they hit the grass there, they couldn't really do anything, and they lost control. Which is why we saw so much carnage on lap 2. A bit unfortunate, although I would have waited there, Amy Star, if I was you, because there were still a lot of cars that you had taken out there. Even though you were being sportsmanlike and, you know, trying to avoid Old Banger here, who clips the grass again, does the exact same as what you did, and ends up in the gravel. But yeah, I would have waited there, Amy Star, in the grand scheme of it. What a horrible reset. They need to sort out some of these resets. That's a horrible reset, because it's right at the racing line as well. Right, let's go to the final race then, and here we have White Tiger. What happened to White Tiger? Well, White Tiger took a penalty. This does throw you off, to be fair, in terms of your braking zone. In we go, and yes, gets it slight bit wrong, nothing major there. They try and stop the car. We know they're there. They come on the track very safely. It looks very different, obviously, from my perspective. It looks like they come on very aggressively, but no, I knew what was happening there, and that's all good. And White Tiger's just going to have dirty tyres on their, well, on their tyres, believe it or not. Dirt on their tyres. But that is going to be it for this week's weekly race guide. Did you enjoy the lap guide being separate to the race? I know a few people have asked for that. I obviously have to do it in a different way, and it just helps with editing as well afterwards, especially with my new job next week. If you have liked it, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and there are 2 videos there just for you. Have a good week racing, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream very soon.